Hi guys, this is Anna, and in this video I'd like to talk to you about some of the literary magazines I am reading. I've been asked to do this video by some of my subscribers, both in Russian and English, so I've briefly explained what the magazines are and where I purchased them from. So I hope you will find it useful. I will start with the magazines I've talked about several times on this channel, and this is the Happy Reader published by the Penguin Press. It used to be a quarterly issue, but from this year they have decided to switch to this being published just twice a year, so it's a biannual edition. Currently, this is the most up-to-date copy. This is issue number 8, and I have not read this one yet. I have 5 magazines in total from them. There are 3 more I would like to get, so potentially in the future. I have 1, 2, 4. I don't have number 3, and I don't have number 5 and 7. I've been trying to hunt them down on eBay because it's virtually impossible to get it anywhere else, and at the moment you can buy them, but they are trading for about $40 to $50. Quite frankly, when it's new, this retails for about £8, I believe. So I have started my subscription with them, and unfortunately from this year onwards they will come just twice a year, biannually instead of being quarterly, and this is the first one I got on my subscription. And another thing I've noticed, I don't know if you can see, but if you compare number 6, the older one, to number 8, the newer one, they have gotten thinner. I think £8 is per issue is not that bad because they are quite a joy to read. As I mentioned before, the whole book is virtually and physically divided into 2 halves. The first half is either one interview or series interview with a celebrity about the reading patterns, the book which influenced their life, and they usually end up summarizing all the books mentioned into a handy list, so you can go and investigate. And then the second half is devoted to a specific book and the influence that book had on culture in the country it's been published or any other countries. So I have not read this one yet because the book they are discussing is Willa Cather's of Pioneer, and I want to read the book before I tackle the magazine. I've read those 3 and I really thoroughly enjoyed them, so I will highly recommend. Those 2 are probably my favorite out of the 3. Love the interview and the books mentioned in those both. So yeah, I'm subscribing to this one now. I also subscribe to the Slightly Foxed, and they focus on the books published a while back in both English and other languages, so translated work as well. And usually they contain a series of essays written by different contributors, where they either discuss the book they really enjoyed or had an influence on their life, or an author they really like. And some of the authors mentioned in the Slightly Foxed are out of print, they've forgotten classics, and to be honest, this is such a gem. Ever since I've read my very first Slightly Foxed issue, I've been absolutely hooked, so I've been trying to collect them. I don't know if you can see, but this is my collection. I have a few. I have everything from 2014, 16, and I'm collecting 17. I subscribe to them now. You can subscribe digitally, but I want to have a physical copy, and you can buy all the issues now either from the website itself, the Slightly Foxed, or you can do it on the eBay. I do believe that you can subscribe digitally from them as well, or via the app, so they have their own app, and I'm not sure whether or not they send it everywhere, how the shipment works, but I think they might even do it to Russia. And I wanted to show the oldest 5 I have. Those are my oldest 5, so issue 11 to 16, and on every issue the characteristic thing will be is that there will be fox, either blatantly obvious or hiding. So here's the fox hiding underneath the dress. This is issue number 12. You can see the fox much more obvious in the writing. Here the fox is part of the main cartoon, so they do actually engage with quite prominent illustrators for the covers. and I really recommend it. That retails for £8 as well. and I think you get, for the price, you get 4 issues a year, so they come quarterly, and they're wonderful. And last week on Instagram, the Slightly Foxed channel, well, profile, contacted some of the people who constantly post about reading them, so I subscribed to them, so I got to know about it. And they said, look, we have this pile of old magazines, would you like any? So I've written to them and said, like, yeah, yes, please, I would like anything from 1 to 10, because those are the oldest and hardest to collect. And they replied back to me saying that they're gonna send me an issue too. So thank you, Julie, for that. I am eagerly waiting. It's such a lovely, lovely, thoughtful thing to do for people who really are devoted to the Slightly Foxed subscriber. I also subscribe to the Persephone books, and they do the tiny little, I don't even know whether it is a proper literary magazine, but this is a Persephone biannual issue. It talks about the new books they're coming out. They publish books twice a year. So this is the number 20, Autumn Winter 2016-17, where they came up with the 3 books. So they talk about the 3 books they're coming up with, the lives of the authors of those books, or the impact those books had. So very similar to the Penguin, but those books will be published by Persephone. And also it will have a list of all of the previously published books. So you can see, like, here my markings, because I made a trip in November to the store in London, and I wanted to make sure, like, I don't buy the same book I already had. And I wanted to buy, whom did I want to buy? Can't remember. I wanted to buy a couple of authors. Dorothy Whipple. I wanted to buy 3 books by Dorothy Whipple, and I think a couple by Monica Dickens. So I scribbled them out. And also, I don't know if I can find it, but the best thing for me in this entire magazine was a short story by Dorothy Whipple called The Private Hotel. And this is a super short story. As far as short stories go, this is super short, but I'm still thinking about it. I love Dorothy Whipple's prose. I love her writing style, and this tiny bit of writing, honestly, it's as good as some novels. So I absolutely adore Persephone books, and I can highly recommend if you subscribe to them. I did a book deal where they will send me a book a month, so because I'm subscribed and I'm on their system, I get this twice a year. Occasionally I would buy the literary review. I don't subscribe to this, and the only one I still have in my house is May 2015, so that's a pretty old issue. I was debating whether or not to subscribe to them full time, but I'm not sure. I might do it, but I do occasionally look at this. I also subscribe to a couple of things digitally via Zinnia. For instance, I subscribe to the Paris book review. I'm not sure if there is a glare. Oops. There's my Zinnia. So there's an app, and this is how it looks like. So I have the last 3 issues. The reason I'm doing so is because the Paris review is published by the New York Book Review. And they are quite chunky magazines. They do have quite a few advertisements, which I'm not really fond of, so digitally I can just flip through them. So they actually amassed about 300 pages each. They're quite bulky, and the price you pay for them, I can't even remember how much they cost. There's something, digitally I paid $7.99 per issue, but the paper version is more expensive. But it's not the price of the actual issue, which is a killer. It's the price of shipment from the United States. It's absolutely bloody ridiculous. It's something like $50 US for a magazine, which is something like $12.99. Yes, they're quite chunky, but they're not that heavy. So I have decided that I'm not going to pay that. That's a bit ridiculous, and the digital copy is cheaper. So I have downloaded Zinnia. This is what they recommend to do on their own website, and this is my most recent one. So I have winter 2016, I have fall, winter 2016, 17, so that's the most recent, and then fall 2016, and then summer 2016. Those are good, and they do publish some short stories by authors. And also I am thinking of subscribing to the New York Review of Books. I do get occasional issues, so like this is the one I have digitally via Zine as well, but I'm seriously considering purchasing this full time. I'm also thinking of possibly subscribing to the New Yorker, because I would get like a couple of issues once in a while if I'm particularly interested, but I haven't like committed to it. And the final things which I've started subscribing is the Times supplement, literary supplement. Usually because I have a waitress card, I would walk down on Sunday and pick up the newspaper, but because I live in Cambridge, a lot of people in Cambridge want to get their hands on the literary supplement, and if you have the membership in Waitress, you get your newspaper for free on any given day, providing you buy something. And in the last 2 months, like, I've really struggled to get my hand on the supplement, literary supplement. That particular issue would just be gone. So I've decided to bite the bullet and subscribe to that as well. So yeah, those are the magazines I'm subscribing to currently. I also subscribe to New Scientist for work, so I would get some book recommendation on non-fiction, science and fiction. And I used to subscribe to the BBC History magazine, and I love their podcast, but now my school subscribes to it for the school library, so I read their section of the history non-fiction coming up. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention one. Sorry, digitally I also get, I can't believe I forgot to mention it. Such a scatterbrain. I'm having a migraine, and when I have a migraine, my brain just goes everywhere. I also subscribe, I'm going to show you how it looks like, the Buzz books. So this is the current issue, 2017. They come up twice a year, and the beauty of this is they put the maybe prologue or part of the first chapter from some of the selected works. This is biannual, so this is spring summer, but they have now decided that this is not enough, and they're also going to do some monthly issues, and I'm going to show you how that looks. So this is the new version, this is February, and in this particular one they have a selection of 5 books, so you can have an excerpt and read that. I also believe to do the YA romance separate issue, but I'm not really interested in them. I get those for free because I'm registered with the NetGalley. So if you register with the NetGalley, when they release them, you can request it, and you just have to write a review for that. So this is a free 300, like the recent one I think was 352 pages, the biannual, and I've read all of it with the exception of a couple excerpts because I just didn't like the prognosis, the summary. But this is a really good way to find out what is coming, and they have a list of all the notable offers which are going to publish in the next 3-4 months in the order that will be published in the States, so you get to know those things really early. Yeah, if you read something else which you think I should really look into it, please let me know. Thank you guys, bye.